Monochromatic means one color. So colors are determined by the length of the wave. A wavelength is the distance from one crest to another in a photon of electromagnetic radiation. The sweet spot in light is the visible light spectrum. So electromagnetic radiation is broken down into different wavelengths of light. The shorter the wavelength, the more energy it carries, and the more careful we have to be, because we're not, and I'll explain that a little further as I walk you through the electron transport chain. We recall learning about photosynthesis in biology class. You all remember chloroplasts are absorbing sunlight, and their photoreceptors are receiving the photons, and they convert that energy into carbon. When we have this, we're able to make hormones, proteins, peptides, enzymes, decrease in inflammatory mediators, and you'll see the myriad of benefits as a result of this chemistry occurring in the body.
Stay tuned for just a moment. She's actually having a little bit of internet issue. Looks like we're back now, Dr. Magda.
As I just explained, we need the specific electron volt potential for the mitochondrial activation to occur to create all of these benefits that I just explained. So more heat does not mean deeper penetration. We need the appropriate wavelengths to hit the cell. And the laser can actually go through clothing, it can go through casts. Her significant exam findings included generalized muscle wasting, being more prominent in the right shoulder and hindquarters, having a stiff gait, a stiff, painful neck with minimal flexion to the left and right, being anxious and unable to get comfortable. And these offer nutrients that are highly concentrated and not really available in the other tissues that we tend to offer animals. Standard Process is a phenomenal company that's family owned that I work with, and they provide plaque forming bacteria. And this is something you can just put on the food. So I gave the digestive enzymes because you may recall that gas after eating was one of the complaints. Start your appointment with this, and it works 9 out of 10 times. They just calm right down. And I don't even have anesthetics in my practice, and I was an emergency vet, because I've seen how this approach that will activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Most of our animals are sympathetic nervous system dominant, and they just need to calm down and calm their adrenals down given the current world we live in. And so I'll have vagus nerve on almost every patient as a starting point. And then there's a rife frequency for arthritis. So I shine that on Nivae's right shoulder, on her distal right forelimb for 5 minutes, so that whole area. And then there's a hip dysplasia setting. It'll go on her hips for 5 minutes. And then immune is another one of my favorite ones. This I will put on the neck to activate the thymus, and then on the abdomen to activate the immune system that's sitting in there. And so that's 2 minutes on the abdomen, 1 minute on the neck. Awesome. So Nivae, we started off with once a week of the above protocol, and she responded immediately. She was able to rest through the night, get up and down and use stairs. When we had her 3-week recheck, she was still stiff. So she's going to her beloved physical rehab therapist as needed. She's still on the patches, and this was the owner's little note to me. She's doing fabulously. By early May, his intake form had joint stiffness with rising, being a slow starter, slow mover, having a poor coat, difficulty getting up and down, suffering from a sprain or strain, lameness or abnormal gait, reluctant to move, dislike handling, temperamental, yelp or growling at others, and having weight shifted off part of the body. And by adding in the patches, I've been able to speed up the duration of treatments. And now he just like you can see his eyes are connecting, and I've actually treated a few eyes with the laser in my previous presentation, I had a cat with a pretty severe third eyelid laceration, and that healed with 3 laser sessions. And any kind of like periocular swelling, laser is great for that. And she had a stiff gait in the pelvic limbs, as you saw. When I did her neuro exam, there were CP deficits in both hind limbs, and she could not lie down during the visit. And then the Ligaplex 2 standard process supplement. So this was the next day after her 3rd laser session. So remember, I'm doing twice a day for 3 days. Just wanted to try regenerative treatment. And so this is after the first laser session. You can see the plantigrade stance. So thank you so much for your time and attention. I hope I've inspired you in some way. My contact information is below.